Coming up on the November edition of Catawba Communities, our school segment this month takes us to the western part of Catawba County and Blackburn Elementary. An Innovate Catawba update and a look at the spec building in Claremont, ready for a new manufacturing business. A tour of the new Sherrills Ford Library, and the Hickory Police Department has a new piece of equipment. And I think you'll like what you see. It's an all-new Catawba Communities, and it starts now.
Continuing with our series of looks at schools across the county, one school at a time. We're really pleased this month to be at Blackburn Elementary, which is off of Highway 10 west of Newton, and with the principal, Brian Hefner. Thanks, Brian, for being with us. First of all, start off by telling us a little bit about the school demographically, the number of students you have, and the size of your faculty.
Sure. We have 700 students, and we serve students K-6, and we have 70 staff members. So,
now, what we found as we've done this tour is that elementary school students tend to be studying the same thing across the county.
Yes.
Middle school and high school. So would you say the curriculum here at Blackburn is pretty much standard?
absolutely. Absolutely.
But there are things about schools that make them different. I've noticed that there are different themes and different studies.
Sure.
Tell me a little bit about some of the special things that are happening at Blackburn, maybe themes you have or different special programs, things going on.
Sure. We've started a book study this year called The Leader in Me, and it's through the 7 highly effective habits of highly effective leader people by Stephen Covey. And we're looking at bringing that model onto our school. So our theme for the last 2 years has been leadership. Our 6th grade does a lot of leadership days. We have community members come in from superintendents to business leaders to CEOs from all different facets of our community and speak to our 6th graders. And really, we're doing it first with our staff this year, the book study about being good leaders as adults, and then bringing that model onto our students next year. 2 other schools in our district, St. Stephen's Elementary and Oxford, are also going through that process this year. Other things that make our school unique is the pottery that is in our region out here in Jacobs Fork area. But we also have a couple things we're doing this year. We're doing a cultural fair to celebrate the diversity of our area out here with all the different ethnic groups and different socioeconomic facets that we have about our community. So those are some of the unique things about our school this year that we're going through.
Now, you mentioned the pottery, so you mentioned this particular area, and I wanted to give you an opportunity to talk about how this community helps, and I know that it's very helpful. You're very involved in your community, and being a pretty big feeder school, I mean, you really feed from a wide area, don't you, all through Vale?
We do. We go from the back of the Valley Hills Mall to where the apartments are back there with the Mostello Mansion. We go all the way down to Vale. So we're a very long and slender school district that works alongside with Bannock and Mountain View. So we pull from all those parts of Hickory, parts of Mountain View, and also parts of Upper Lincoln County, and we have a lot of teachers that pull from there. Great support. Our PTO is very involved. They're here all the time. We have a lot of churches that help with our backpack program that help us feed students over the weekend who need some help. We have people in our schools who do watchdogs. Our dads come in and do a program where they're visible in the schools during the day as another step for helping keep our schools safe and doing other things like that. We have Grandparents Week, which just happened a couple weeks ago, where we invited all of our grandparents to come eat lunch throughout the week. So we had a lot of different activities that. So trying to draw all those folks in and make them a part. The other thing that our district is doing this year to help bring in that community is setting up a mobile app that we're using to alert families. It's called a Schoolway app, where families can get their children's grades. We can send out push notifications to their smartphones. So trying to draw those folks in, not only physically, but also with our technology.
Now, this is one of, I guess, the older, still existing schools in Catawba County, but you were telling me that it has had a lot of different uses. Tell me about that.
There's been a school on this site, or an educational building on this site, since 1940. It was originally a community school that used to sit in our bus parking lot, but was taken down. Then it became a high school, and then it became a middle school, and then in the mid-90s, it was turned into an elementary school when they opened Jacobs Fork that feeds into Fred T. Ford. So different parts of this building have different ages and different lifespans, but it's served the community well for the last, 70 years or so.
Brian Hefner, principal at Blackburn, thank you very much for being with us this month. If you'd like to know more about Blackburn Elementary, it's easy. You can find out a lot on the internet at the Catawba County Schools website at www.catawbacountyschools.net. there is a tab at the top of the page that says schools, and if you'll let your mouse rest on it, then you go to drop-down menu, click on Blackburn Elementary, and find out a whole lot more.
Catawba Valley Community College's Learning and Personal Enrichment Innovation Center was recently presented the North Carolina Community Colleges Adult Educators Association's 2014 Innovation Award. CVCC was recognized for its creativity and innovation in programming management, practice, communication, marketing, or customer service in continuing education programs. For more information, visit cvcc.edu.
Along with new technology came some benefits for the Hickory Police Department. And what I'm talking about are new body cameras that the City of Hickory and the Hickory Police Department now have. And I have Captain Thurman Whisnant here with me today, as well as Lieutenant Andy Curley, who's going to show us some of the actual features of the body cameras. But thank you, Captain Whisnant, for being with us.
Thank you. Glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
Sure. Now tell us a little bit about the background of how did this come about and why did we feel the need to have them?
Technology has always been a priority with us here at the police department, and for years we have had various versions of in-car cameras, and that we collected footage with our in-car footage. Unfortunately, with that technology, we were finding that you only capture about 10% of the interactions that an officer has in the course of a day. It really just what happens in front of the police car. So for several years, we've kind of kept an eye on the emerging technology of body-worn cameras. The cost, roughly the cost of an in-car camera is about $5,000. So we were looking at the technology, and here recently we felt that the technology had come along far enough that you could get a body-worn camera with a battery that was small enough that an officer could easily carry the camera and the battery, along with all the other equipment they're required to carry. The price was low enough that we felt that we would just get a lot more bang for our buck by equipping our officers with the body-worn cameras.
It sounds amazing that, you know, the technology has come along to this point that they're so small they can wear them. So tell me a little bit about the benefit of having those cameras for whether it be an investigation or the purposes that you're using them for.
Well, again, the main reason is just for us to have an accurate documentation of encounters with the public, whatever kind of encounter that may be. Again, only about 10% of what an officer encounters in a day occurs in front of their police car. With this, they're going to be carrying it with them. We feel that they're going to get about 90% more video and audio footage of their encounters with the public, and also just the ease of use of the video that we capture, the ease in capturing it, uploading it, sharing it was just a great benefit we felt to go with the body-worn cameras.
So this is a little easier to do the back-end technology of uploading and getting those things into the system.
Much easier. In the past, we have maintained all the video servers, and we've had to burn a whole lot of disk. And when you think about getting prepared for court and the amount of the cost that goes into and the time that goes into burning disk, with this, each officer has an account that their particular camera is registered to them, and so they're able, once the upload happens, and the upload process is really, it occurs when you're charging your camera and your battery. It's networked in, so all the video is pulled up to a service called evidence.com. Each officer here has an account that they're able to access and able to deal directly with their own video evidence. And instead of burning discs, they can actually share the evidence with prosecutors, with other officers, maybe who another officer assigned the case. It just really cut down on a lot of the back-end work and made it a whole lot more efficient for us to manage the evidence.
Okay, and so tell me a little bit about the actual recording. So how long can the battery record, and how long do they record, and do they have the ability to turn them off or keep them on or things like that?
Okay, the officer will turn the battery pack on, and you'll get to see it up close here in just a few minutes, but they will turn the battery pack on, and the camera is constantly what we call buffering. So it's constantly recording what is going on, but it's just not storing the video until an officer actually activates the recording. So it will last a 12-hour shift. The battery pack will last a 12-hour shift. The camera itself, which is where the video is actually stored, has an internal memory device that will store up to 8 hours of video before it has to be downloaded. So we do have a pretty strict and clear policy on what will be recorded, and so in essence, any significant encounter, enforcement action, citizen contact, our policy has clear guidelines on what is to be recorded, when it's to be recorded. In essence, any significant contact with the public, whether it's enforcement action or otherwise, is going to be recorded and uploaded. You know, obviously, officers have a lot of uncommitted time that, you know, they are in their police cars. You know, we had to think about things like going to the restroom. You know, how, you know, now that the officer's carrying a camera with them, so there has to be times when they're able to deactivate it, you know, due to some privacy issues. And again, with technology, those are some of the hurdles and some of the obstacles and things that you have to work through and overcome.
And I know technology sometimes is a little before even legal standards of how these things are stored, how do we use them, things like that. So I know we're still working through those processes as well.
You're exactly right, and we've tried to research this as best we can, and we found with this and other issues that you're exactly right, that a lot of times technology kind of surpasses or comes out quicker than the laws that govern it. So with this, you know, again, kind of to use the analogy of the police car cameras, you know, with those cameras, you're never really collecting footage which you know, is going to be in somebody's home or in a hospital room. And so with this, you know, we've had to consider issues and you know, things of that nature, that this camera is going where the officer goes, and so you know, we have to take those things into consideration.
Privacy laws and things like that.
There are some privacy issues that have to be considered when dealing with body cameras, and you know, it's kind of been there's some research, you know, still being done in other places and within the legal communities about, you know, kind of trying to get a solid handle on that.
Exactly, and you know, we're not the only ones either that have this. I mean, we are one of many, right?
We're told that there are approximately 2,000 police agencies nationwide that are employing this technology. There's about, to give you a point of reference, there's about 17,000 plus police agencies, law enforcement agencies in the U.S. And right now, what we've been told is roughly 2,000 have implemented this technology, but we see that it's growing, and we anticipate that this is the direction that most of the video technology is going to be going with respect to law enforcement.
Makes sense. Well, I'm excited. It sounds like it's a good use of an ability with technology for protection of the officer as well as the public.
You're right, and those were two of the top considerations when we were, you know, researching whether to go with body cameras. You know, obviously, as I said before, the number one thing is we want to accurately document and have a record of our encounters with the public. It enables us to do many things. You know, it's going to enable us if there's training issues or things that we need to work on or improve on. It gives us, our supervisors, the ability to evaluate their officers. It also, as you know, many times there are you know, folks or folks that make allegations against officers and allege misconduct. And it allows us to have a video record to go back and actually view, you know, what actually occurred.
So you mentioned a little bit about the cost of the in-car camera. Tell me a little bit about the cost and how that affects the department with these new body cameras.
Well, the cost is greatly reduced with this, and that was a very strong consideration when you consider, I had mentioned bang for the buck. You know, when you consider we're going to be capturing a whole lot more video. The cost, again, was $5,000 for an in-car camera. With this, the cost is so significantly reduced when you consider the entire package, which includes your hardware, your software, your video management. We were able to actually outfit our entire patrol division. All the folks that will be responding to calls have the latest technology. We're in a 5-year contract that will allow us to have, when a camera breaks, if a new model comes out, an upgrade, we have a solid cost cost, and this will carry us through the next 5 years with the latest technology.
Tell me too, one more thing to talk about is the location of the body camera. It could be in 2 different places, is that correct?
Yeah, the cameras are actually mounted with a magnet, so there are multiple mounting options. The 2 mounting options that are going to be most utilized by Hickory Police are there's a collar mount where the camera will be mounted just beside the collar, but they can also mount it on their glasses, which kind of gives a unique perspective in that you know, the view that you're going to see with the video is actually, you'll see the officer, what the officer actually sees, where they turn their head. The collar mount, you know, doesn't give you the head turn perspective, but it does give you the straight on perspective of the audio and video of what the officer actually saw. So they're able to, let's say if they're wearing it on their glasses and they're going to go in a building and they need to take their glasses off, they can actually just take it and move it down to their collar and walk in, move their glasses up. And so it really, the functionality of it, we were really impressed with.
Well, I appreciate you sharing all that you have with us, and we look forward to, you know, them being able to utilize these new tools as they come out. So thank you again for sharing all this.
Thank you.
Beverly Hester, an administrative assistant with Catawba County's Department of Utilities and Engineering, was named Catawba County's Employee of the Year for 2014 at the county's annual award night dinner on October 21st. Hester was praised for consistently working above and beyond the expectations and requirements of her position. Her dedication to the success of the solid waste program is exemplified through her commitment to service for the citizens of Catawba County, said Cindy Meadows, business manager with the Department of Utilities and Engineering, who nominated Hester for the award. Beverly has many qualities that make up her unparalleled work ethic. Among those qualities is her ability to recognize when something needs to be accomplished and simply get it done without fanfare or recognition, whether the task is within the scope of her job or not.
There was an exciting day for folks in the Sherrills Ford-Terrell community of southeastern Catawba County not too many weeks ago when a brand new branch library was opened. I'm real pleased to be joined this month by Siobhan Lohendorf, who is currently the Assistant Library Director for Catawba County, but spent some time as the branch manager in the Sherrills Ford area, so knows it well. Thanks, Siobhan, for being here.
Thank you, Dave, for having me.
One of the things that I think was so exciting about this library was that the community had such involvement in it. Can you tell me a little bit about their involvement? They were pretty much asking for it years ago, right?
Certainly. One of the things that sets the Sherrills Ford community apart has been their interest in the public library. The Sherrills Ford Public Library was the first branch outside of the main library in Newton to ever be established. And since they established it, it's just grown and grown. It went from being a tiny little building to a little bit larger, and then they doubled the size in that. And now with this big, beautiful building, we've almost tripled the size. We're about 10,000 square feet here, which is a far cry from the 200 square feet they started in back in the 80s.
And one of the other things that happened as this building was being planned for is the community got several opportunities to talk about what they wanted to see. There were a couple of focus group meetings with the architects to plan for all the beautiful amenities and all the features that are in this building. So tell me some of the things that we do have here at the new Sherrills Ford-Terrell Branch Library. What are some of the different areas and things you have in here?
Sure. From the focus group meetings, several of the things that we kept hearing is we wanted a community space where people could come together and meet and gather. We needed a teen space because we didn't have a teen space before. We needed meeting space, little conference rooms, and lots of technology, cutting edge technology for people. So what we have here now is we have a big, beautiful community room that has capabilities for projectors and TVs. We have conference rooms that people can come study in or have small meetings in. We have a beautiful teen room that's loaded with iPads and its own TV, just very cool technology. The children's area, we've always had a children's area, we've just expanded it, and now it's a big, beautiful children's area with more computers for children to use and more iPads everywhere, laptops everywhere. It's just wonderful.
So for folks who aren't real sure how to get to the new library, tell us the best way to get here.
The best way for me is to come straight down Highway 16 and hang a left on Highway 150. Then look for the historic Terrell Country store at the intersection of Sherrills Ford Road and 150. Hang a left there, and then you'll see the library right on your right. you can't miss it because we have a new big beautiful sign that was another community partnership. This was something that the Lions Club, the Rotary Club, the Friends of the Library, and the Lake Norman Garden Club all got together, and they raised money well over a year to pay for the sign that is a wonderful addition. And you can also see posted events on the sign because it's electronic, and it will show you what's going on in the library hours.
Siobhan Lowendorf, who is the Assistant Catawba County Library Director, thanks very much for telling us more about this beautiful Cheryl's Ford-Terrell Library. If you'd like to know more about the library and what's happening at the library, online you can visit www.catawbacounty.nc.gov/library and then look for a link that says locations. That'll give you another drop-down menu, and you just select Cheryl's Ford-Terrell Library to learn more.
James and Dorothy Best, named Grand Marshals of the Hickory Christmas Parade, set for Friday, November 21st at 6 p.m. in downtown Hickory. James Best is known as Sheriff Roscoe P. Coltrane on The Dukes of Hazzard, Jim Lindsay, the guitar player on The Andy Griffith Show, and he starred in many other westerns and movies over his career. Dorothy is in HCT's upcoming Shrek and will be the Wicked Witch and a dancing rat. After the parade, Santa and Mrs. Claus will light the Christmas tree in downtown Hickory, then visit with the children while Rick Klein and Nathan Hefner sing Christmas songs under the sails on the square until 8:30. For more information, go to hickorync.gov.
Hi, I'm Julie Pruitt, the Director of Business Recruitment with the Catawba Economic Development Corporation. We are thrilled that the Claremont International Business Park's newest spec building is finally complete. This is a spec building that was actually conceived and originated from Innovate Catawba, and it's going to provide modern manufacturing space that is flexible in size, something that we do not have currently in the county. It's 51,000 square feet, expandable to 128,000 square feet, with very high clear ceiling heights, 28 to 32 foot clear. It's established and located within the Claremont International Business Park. It is a park that is signalized and has lots of manufacturing currently located within the park, which is something that most clients want when they're looking for a building. They want it flexible, expandable, and modern manufacturing needs very high ceiling heights for their manufacturing equipment. And so this is going to provide us with the ability to recruit modern manufacturing that we haven't had a lot of in the past. Location is very important, and one of the reasons that it's a great location that the spec building is in the Claremont International Business Park. It is within 2 miles of Interstate 40 and also probably 45 minutes to the Charlotte Douglas International Airport. When clients are looking to locate, location is very important. Location to interstate for truck trafficking, but also location to an international airport is very important when you're working with domestic and international clients. It's one of the most important items on their list. We're marketing the building, and we have currently been marketing the building, but actually started marketing the building before it was actually constructed. We've had clients on the ground looking at the building before it was complete. We're doing everything from mass email to print publication to face-to-face trade missions to market this building. So we're going all out, the full court press, to market the building. For more information on the building itself, please visit our website at catawbaedc.org.
Thank you for watching Catawba Communities. Catawba Communities airs every day at 7 a.m., noon, and 3 p.m., and Tuesday and Thursday night at 8 p.m. on your local government and educational channel, Channel 192 on Charter Cable, and online 24/7 at Catawba County's YouTube channel.